lessons on rational numbers. Now, the word rational numbers, it means numbers that can be written as a fraction. Okay? You might be thinking, well, can't you write any number as a fraction? Well, for example, numbers that are not rational are any number that has a 0 in the denominator is not rational. If you put that into your calculator, 4 over 0, it's an error. It's a syntax error, it says, or a compute error. Okay, there's no such thing as being able to divide by 0. Sometimes it's called the divide by 0 error. So this is not a rational number. Now, how might you end up with something like this? Well, if you were simplifying a fraction that was 2 minus 1 over 3 minus 3. Well, that wouldn't be 4. Let me do this. How about 2 plus 2 over 3 minus 3? Okay? So if you had 2 plus 2 over 3 minus 3 and you got 4 over 0 as an answer, then that is not a rational number. It's an irrational number. Okay? And so that's what your answer would be, irrational. Later on when we start graphing, you'll call that undefined. Okay? Other things that are not rational numbers. Here's another example. Pi, 3.141, whatever, and it goes on and on and on. Those are that's an irrational number because you can't write it as a fraction. Decimals that go on in randomness, like 3.14, 2654, and so on and so on and so on. That number actually goes on and on and on. Okay? So, this number, called pi, Pi, is an irrational number. You can't write it over a place that it ends. Now, if it's just 3.14, or if it's a terminating decimal, like 3.15, then you can write that as a fraction. You write it as 315 hundredths, which equals 3 and 15 hundredths. Okay? Stop talking. 3 and 15 hundredths, or 315 over 100. Those are rational numbers. Here's some other examples of rational numbers. So any number that you can write as a fraction or a negative fraction, like negative 3/5, negative 6/10, negative 5/10, 2/3. 2/3 is a repeating decimal, but it doesn't repeat in a random order. It just is 3 repeating, and you can write that as a fraction. Or 6 repeating. Anytime you have a repeating decimal, you can write that as a fraction. Okay? Now, what we're really going to be doing today is working with rational numbers. And we're going to be substituting numbers into fractions and then simplifying them. So, again, we did this before earlier in the chapter. Whenever you're substituting a number in for a variable, you always put it in parentheses. Okay? And that way you can have the negative sign in the right place. You can multiply if you need to. You have to put it in parentheses. So, what does A equal in this example? What does A equal in this example? Look at this part of it. We're starting with A minus B over 3B. What does A equal in this example? Tyler? Negative 6. What does B equal? negative 4. Now, notice that this minus sign is still there. It's still in that spot. What are you guys doing? Alright. So that's really distracting. That's
Why did
so knock it off, you guys. Knock it off.
It was just,
Okay?
you know, it was just them.
Who? I know, and it just threw off our entire class.
Alfred, we were falling out of his chair while we were talking.
Alright, I'll give him a warning. Okay. So, notice that this minus sign, you have to put it in parentheses so that the minus sign stays there. And then, how do you get negative 2 out of that? You start with negative 6 minus negative 4. How is that negative 2? Max?
Because you changed the minus and the negative 4 to plus 4.
Yep. Exactly. Minus minus equals plus. So this is negative 6 plus 4, which is negative 2. Alright? Now, we had to put negative 4 in for b right here. Alright? And what does 3b mean? Does it mean 3 minus 4? Since this is negative 4? We do 3 minus 4? Or what operation is that? Brett?
3 times 4.
It's 3 times negative 4. It's 3 times b. So when you put in negative 4, it's 3 times negative 4, which is negative 12. Then you have to simplify that. Negative 2 over negative 12 is negative 1 over negative 6. Or, if you factor out the negatives too, since it's negative divided by negative is positive, you end up with positive 1/6. Okay? Emily?
So how do you know that when A and B equals, or is that just for you?
We'll give you what those equal. In each of the ones that you have to simplify, it'll say A equals negative 6 and B equals negative 4. So what is this simplifying? Okay? Alright, let's practice some of these. So take out your worksheet. On the reteaching side, number 1. We're just starting with a simple fraction, A over B. A divided by B. And then it says A.
I need to get a worksheet.
You sure?
Yeah.
Alright. So then it says A is negative 12, B is 6. So substitute those in. Negative 12 divided by 6. And then simplify it. Remember that the division bar also means what operation? Divide? Yeah, it means divide. Negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. Now, you could also just factor out the negative 6's or positive 6's and you'd still get negative 2. And you simplify it. Okay? Number 2, put in negative 5 for m. So negative 5 in parentheses, minus, and 3 for n, over negative 4.
Why do we have to put parentheses?
What?
Why do we have to put parentheses?
Because you got to know what numbers you're putting in.
Like the top one, it's just.
I don't know, just practice. They really don't. There's certain ones that it doesn't affect, and but there's a lot of them in that the parentheses do affect.
Why for number 1 don't we put negative 2 over 1?
Well, again, any number that's over 1 is just a whole number.
So if
Isn't
I
it?
put negative 2 over 1, would it be wrong?
No, I wouldn't count it wrong. No, not in this case, because we're working with fractions. But if you just write negative 2 also, that's okay. All right? So how do we simplify this? What do we do from here? Lindsay? What does this mean? Negative 5 minus 3. What should we insert in front of the minus sign? A plus sign. Now simplify this. Does that make it easier? It should. Jeremiah? Negative 8. Very good. Negative 8 over negative 4. Now what? Simplify it to 2. 2. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2. Or, if you wrote 2 over 1, that would be okay too.
What's our answer? Wait, Mr.
Yes.
I didn't put the add negative. I put 5 minus 3, I think, but I still got the right answer.
If you did 5 minus 3, then you got 2.
Yeah, and then I did 2 divided by negative 4, and that's 2.
2 divided by negative.
No, I don't.
No, 2 divided by negative 4 is
I did
negative
negative
1
1
half.
divided by 2.
Oh, see, you have to, when you're dividing, you have to do the top number divided by the bottom number.
But
All right.
you're in simplest form.
And then the simplest form is 2.
Now we have to
Oh.
the over 1. It's still not simple.
You don't have to put it over 1, you can just write 2.
Oh, okay. No.
I said that before. All right. 2x minus 5. X equals 2, x equals 6. Minus 5 over y. Y is 21.
So plus negative 5.
So what's plus yeah. What's plus negative 5 though?
The 5. It would be
What would we do first before we take away 5?
multiply 2 and 6.
2 and 6, which
And
is
then 12 minus
12
5, which is
plus negative 5
7.
over 21.
So 7.
Yeah, and then how, I already got that, but then how do you...
1/3.
Got it.
Okay?
How do you get one? How do you get one? How do you get 1/3 though? I'm so confused. I got the 7 over 21, but I
You got the 7 over 21?
yeah, but I didn't do that whole thing. I just put 7 over 21. But I don't get how you get to 1/3.
7 21st.
7 goes into 21.
7 goes into 21 3 times, and 7 goes into 7 once. So we reduce that fraction to 1/3. 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. Okay? So there's quite a bit of work here. There's a number of steps that you've got to do. Alright? So what I want you to do is go through 5, 7. I'm just going to skip a line just so that you have more room to show your work.
So odds.
So you can do the odds on this page. Okay? Let me do one with, let's go to number 11. Number 11 has a bunch of exponents in it. So you've got a squared plus b squared. Here's why you have to put parentheses. Somebody was asking, do you have to put parentheses? Yeah, because it affects, especially ones with exponents. So a squared is 4 squared plus b squared, and b is negative 3 squared over 2 times 4 plus negative 3. Now, if you don't have the parentheses around the negative 3 when you're squaring that, then, can you see this okay? Then, that negative 3 is not being squared, it's the positive 3 that's being squared. So then you end up with the wrong answer. Okay? Because if you do a negative 3 squared without the parentheses, it's only the 3 that's being squared, not negative 3. So, get to 16, 4 squared is 16, plus positive 9 over 2 times 4 is 8, plus negative 3, which is 25 over 5, which is 5. Alex.
I have a question on number 5. So, it would be 10 over 2
Yep.
times 2, or 2 in parentheses, plus negative 8, which would be 10 over negative 4. So then and then if you simplify that, it would be 1/4. But like, which would be the negatives? 1/4, would it? Or no? Because,
Negative.
I mean, like what would be negative?
Well, because this is negative 4, so that negative sign has to stay there. It makes the whole
So,
fraction
it makes the
negative.
whole thing.
It makes the whole thing
That's
negative.
what I was wondering.
One negative sign makes the whole fraction negative. Okay? What did I just say, Roy?
It makes the whole negative a positive.
One negative sign makes the whole fraction negative. Two negatives in the fraction make the whole fraction positive. And it doesn't matter where you put the negative sign. You can put it in front of the 2, you can put it in front of the 5, you can put it in front of the whole fraction. Alright, one negative sign makes the whole fraction negative. 2 negative signs make the whole fraction positive. 3 negative signs make the whole fraction negative. And so on and so on and so on.
Just an example on that. So like number 9 on the other side, it says n is 7, but it has a negative sign in front of it. So
It would be
Negative
negative
7.
parentheses.
So then it's negative, and then in parentheses,
oh yeah.
yes,
So 5 over 2 would be all negative.
5 over 2 would be all negative, yep. It'd be just negative 5 over 2. Alright? Then, go to the other side. It says graph these rational numbers. That means mark it on the number line. Mark these numbers on the number line.
Just
Do
put a dot.
1 through 4. Do 1 through 4. So mark these numbers on the number line.
What is that?
Okay?
V. So you just put a dot or a line.
Should we just put the number by it, like number 1?
No.
So V.
And then do 15 and 16.
So we don't have to do 5.
That's it. No, because you're doing that on the other side.
Yeah, watch it.
So you can cross these out
Okay.
and
So we go
cross these out. Do 1 through 4 and 15 to 17 and 5 through 15. And study for your quiz. Okay?
That pizza is good for you.
Watch you.